Junkyards. They are a place where cars are laid to rest and parts stripped to give others a second chance on the road. Without these establishments, the automotive industry would greatly suffer. So join me as I travel around and explore what these places have to offer. Welcome back to another episode on trying to find the best junkyard. Today, we're at Pick Apart in Kilsyth, where we're going to try and explore what kind of interesting cars are here. Let's get started. Pick Apart Kilsyth is located to the east of Melbourne City, and unlike Imlach's and Jolly's and Dandenong, Pick Apart Kilsyth has quite picturesque views and is a lot quieter as it's positioned away from inner Melbourne suburbs. So upon first inspection, the ground here looks a lot like the ground at Imlach's in Springvale, but the first thing I'm noticing with the cars specifically is that they're a lot more battered and bruised. They've been a lot more ran through than all the ones in my area in the southeast. The first vehicle we're looking at is a Ford Capri. Now these are very odd cars. They're obviously named after a very iconic rear-wheel drive sort of muscle car-ish vehicle. They look a bit like a Cortina. I don't know why they decided to make this thing front-wheel drive and a convertible. It doesn't really make any sense, does it, Peter?
Nah, these are a very weird hairdresser car.
I remember seeing a lot of these when I was a kid driving around, but obviously they mustn't have stood the test of time as well as Ford thought. What? As well as Ford thought they... Are you fucking serious? As well as Ford thought they would, because obviously they're in a junkyard and there's more than one of them. There's another one up there. This one's probably like the least desirable one you could get. It's a auto. The head's missing off it. It looks like they have a pretty thick block. Closed deck and everything. Probably take a bit of boost. But these had like pretty small engines and they were naturally aspirated. Very strange car. I don't know why it exists, but this thing has literally nothing in it. Here's a car, well, I don't know if you can even call it a car anymore, but it's a KE70 Corolla. And these have become really popular recently, like maybe 10 years ago, no one even bat an eye towards these things, but... My hand is bigger than this clutch. One of our mates has about 13 of these.
Yeah, he's a clown.
Yeah, he's a bit odd. Like most of this car has just been used for rust cuts because that's what they're known for. Just rusting out completely. Here you go. Yep, everything's missing. The B-pillar's missing. It's got a pretty rare interior though, it's blue. Look, it's even got a tally-ho cigarette. Yuck. We've just wandered into the four-wheel drive section. I'm not sure of the series, but this is an E-something X5. I think it's the first generation X5. And this one looks like it's got a V8 of some sort. I know these things are pretty known for having timing chain problems.
They either came 4 litre or 4.4.
4.4 or 4.8?
Oh, 4.8, that's
Yeah, yeah. This one's a 4.4. Yeah, once again, like I was saying earlier, a lot of the cars here are more taken apart than in my areas, but at least they're keeping other cars on the road and people aren't just buying new cars and selling out, but that's pretty cool. Split folding tailgate.
I'll tell you what's crazy though, is like this car was probably 120 grand brand new.
Yeah, back then as well.
Back then as well. How old is this thing? I'd probably say it's 20 years old.
Yeah.
There's like Ford Falcons that are worth more that are 20 years old than an X5. And they were like, what, 30 grand brand new? This was 130.
Yeah. BMW and Range Rover sort of pioneered the luxury SUV segment because the only other luxury SUV that was for sale really around this time was...
ML.
Well, the ML was kind of average back then.
That ML was crap.
Yeah, this thing and like Range Rovers, they share the same motors for a bit. These things you'd normally see with a courier sign on the side. Some of them were actually called Ford Couriers. This thing's a PK Ranger.
Bro, the upper control arms are worth money. That's
True.
Black Hawk CA.
If anyone wants upper control arms, these are worth money.
Yep.
Black Hawk upper control arms. Even on the most mundane vehicles, you can find good parts.
Recommended retail price on those upper control arms is about 800 bucks. So
shit, well there you go. Next time we come back to this wreck, one of my subscribers is already going to take them.
yeah, good.
Good, you guys should. I have a bit of a soft spot for these things. I don't know why, I kind of like them. This is an XJ Cherokee. These things were one of the last Jeeps to come with a straight six. These things are pretty bulletproof from what I hear, and they look retro, which is what I like about them. And another thing which makes these special is they're also a solid front end, which is pretty unusual for like a late 90s, early 2000s small four-wheel drive or SUV. So it's pretty cool. Classic body on frame.
I'll tell you what, this is the exact reason why you daily drive a newer vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes you got to question whether the people even came out of these things alive or not.
There's a big misconception with like people thinking that big cars are safer. They're not always safer. And if it was any harder, it would have caved in the A-pillar. Look, it's already, it's completely ripped it off the cab, the chassis rail. Here's a car that's very dear to my heart as well. There's a 1990 Toyota 4Runner. My dad used to have one. I got taken home from hospital in one of these. It wasn't a V6 like this one, it was a 5L 2.8 NA diesel, and my dad had it till I was about 12, and then he bought the 120 Prado and he traded it in. But he had that thing since brand new, and I wish if I was my age back then, I would have forced him to keep the car, but it didn't have aircon. He didn't option it with aircon. He optioned it with a bull bar, but no aircon. Makes sense of that. Very cool. I love these things. These came out in Australia as a 4Runner and in America, but everywhere else in the world, they came out as surfs, and Peter owns a couple, yeah. His girlfriend has one, his dad has one. This place actually has really nice views. Like there's a mountain over there. There's like a pile of junk over there. Some trees over there. Obviously because it's not in the city, it's not super noisy and stuff. It's actually quite relaxing to be here.
It is actually. It's dead silent. You don't hear any like machine or like any machines going or any crashes or traffic.
And like the mountains. I like the mountains over there. It's nice. Dad used to have one of these as well, but it was a wagon. Subaru Brumby, best vehicle I ever owned. Well, his one was carbureted, 1.8 litre boxer engine. I don't know if this one is, probably is. It's pretty cool. Look at this thing. Better than an EJ. I don't know, I think maybe they were quite popular back in the day. You know, they were like a car, but a ute.
Well, no fucking shit.
No one ever thought of that.
Some of these came with seats in the back of the ute.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, facing backwards though. And they had like harnesses and shit. This is just bare bones. No rev counter, no AC. Does it even have a radio? In a sea of turbocharged economy boxes, this thing defied the odds when it came out with a 1.8 litre supercharged 4-cylinder. This is a C180 compressor. When I was a kid and I saw these driving around, I'm like, oh, compressor. What does that mean? And then now, 23 years of age, I finally found out that it stands for supercharger. I don't know why they'd put a supercharger on it, but obviously now everything's turbo. All the economy boxes are turbo now.
These things are the most putrid Mercedes ever created, in my opinion.
Last time I spoke about how much I hated VE Omegas and Captivas. Is this your least favorite car, Peter?
This is my least favorite car. This era A-Class. Shocking.
Holy crap.
I don't even know how they got the A-Class that they have today, which is a fucking great car, from this.
Well, I guess you gotta start somewhere. It's like AUs. People hated the way AUs looked, and then all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, everyone started liking them. This one looks like a hemorrhoid. It literally looks like a hemorrhoid. But it's manual. Manual hemorrhoid. Look at this. Hyundai gets. No, but seriously, if you're gonna come to a wreckers to pull an engine, come to Pick Apart and Kill Site, because they give you these massive crane things with 33-inch muddies to get through any of the terrain you want. I've held off talking about Falcons for this whole video, but now I'm giving in. My urges are kicking in. I'm tingling. Look at all these Falcons. Lots of territory. Another thing that Peter was telling me is that the further you get away from the city, the older the cars are generally. So a lot of the cars are taken apart, and hence why this wreckers specifically, a lot of the cars do look like this, where there's basically nothing in them. Fair enough. Crossflow, tough. Yeah, but you know, if you look after these cars, they're fine, you know, the timing chains don't fly out into the stratosphere. No, it doesn't damage the ozone layer, man. Obviously, if you look after an engine, it's gonna be okay. But these had a design flaw with the PCV valve where it would literally starve certain areas of the engine of oil. Hence why the timing chains would go on these. But in America, they released a like a technical service bulletin where they changed the PCV design and it fixed the rattle text over there.
I heard a rumor somewhere that the Allotech was actually designed for a front-wheel drive car, and that is why it is such a pain in the ass to work on. This thing's been in a 5 km/h accident.
Yeah, I used to have an AU very briefly. I ended up rear-ending someone at like -3 kilometers an hour. It's almost like they had a magnet on their car. And that's what my rad support looked like as well. Airbags didn't go off, nothing. But like the front of these cars are just like, they're made out of mothballs, I swear. Yeah, no kidding. It's starting to rain a little bit now, so I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. There's more to come, so stick around. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.
Let's orage.